thank you very much for taking some time down from the top deck and the hot tubs to come and learn something. I hope, how many of you have been to Bermuda? I asked that before you all got there. No, okay, well I hope this will help you learn a little bit more about Bermuda so that you'll enjoy your time there more. This is my 6th cruise to Bermuda, and you can see that I was here, okay? The favorite reason of many people to visit Bermuda is to go to the beach. Do you know what color the sand is in Bermuda?
Pink.
Pink. Have any of you seen it? Okay, it's not hot pink, okay? And there are some pictures that you're going to see here that have very pink sand. I think they were taken with a filter on the camera, but it does have a pinkish tint. And this is a picture of that pink sand close up. Does anybody know what makes the pink sand pink? It's a little tiny marine animal. It's the skeleton and broken pieces of shell from that. So if you look at this picture, you'll see that just the way gray hair is really white hair and colored hair mixed together, the pink sand is white and ivory sand and kind of red sand. Those are the shells and skeletons of the animal. We call sand an endangered species, but we may not see it forever because the waters off Bermuda and in the oceans generally are becoming more acidic, and that's less hospitable to those organisms. So go and see them now. When they don't exist anymore, the sand in Bermuda will be ivory. This is a postcard, and I really like it because all the green spots you see are parks, and in Bermuda all the parks are free. I don't know if you can get this postcard anymore, but on the maps they do indicate parks, and you can see that there are parks all over. Here's the dockyard, Fort Scour Hill Park is right there, Gibbs Hill, and this, you might remember the names of some of these beaches that I mentioned before. This is South Shore Park, and South Shore Park goes right along all those beaches. So you can't walk on the beach from beach to beach because the rocks go out in the water, but you can walk along South Shore Park, and that's kind of what the trail looks like. It's high up. If you could see, let's pretend you could see down to here, you would see the buses going by. This looks secluded, but it's not, and it's easy to get to. So you can take a bus to the furthest point, say Warwick, Long Bay. What you should really do is think about what time of day you're doing it, so that you'll have the sun behind you and not in your eyes. And you can start walking, and then you can take turns, just going down to beach after beach. And you can see a big beach, and you can see a little beach like that, and you can stay as long as you like. And you can use facilities at the beach that has them, and just enjoy the beach that doesn't. My own experience with this is that you will find people selling soda and sandwiches and things there, or you can get things at the Visitors Information Center at King's Wharf and bring them with you. If you did the whole route and stopped to swim a little bit but not spend 2 hours at one beach, it would probably take you a half day. The little oasis in Hamilton is a place called Parlaville Park. It's right in the center of town, and if you're walking from the ferry to the bus depot, you will pass it. Inside that is Perot Post Office. Mr. Perot was a botanist, and Parlaville Park was his botanical garden. As a sideline, he became the postmaster in Bermuda, and his salary, I think, was only the postage he collected. So he wanted to make the most money he could, and he would put a box out at night for people who couldn't come in the daytime and pay him to carry the letters. It was a penny for a letter. Every morning he would open that box, and I bet you can guess what happened. There were always more letters than pennies. So Mr. Perot designed a postmark. He said, you can't put pennies in the box anymore. You can put letters in at night, but you have to have purchased. It's the equivalent of a postage stamp. And I think that his fortunes improved after that. Now, as I said, there were no cars in Bermuda until quite recently, and so they had built a railroad here. Once cars came along, nobody wanted to ride the railroad. I should know where they sent it. They took it apart and shipped the whole thing, rails and wall, to some third world country. But they kept the rail bed and they put in a railway trail, which you can walk along. And I will point out to you, it's hard to walk because it's discontinuous in a lot of areas. But this is a booklet from the Visitors Information Center, and it points out where you can go. And I know there is an excursion from the ship that's biking, I think it is, that they do part of their ride along the trail. So you can't not walk from one end of Bermuda to the other, but you can walk quite a bit. And the nice thing about rail trails is that trains at Harbor Devir don't like inclines, so it's pretty flat walking. You might be wondering about where we will be docked. In the past, cruise ships really were tied up in St. George and Hamilton, but as cruise ships got bigger, they couldn't dock in those ports. They couldn't accommodate them. And so a few years back, they developed King's Wharf, and it can take the biggest ships. So what can you do while you're here? Because you're going to have bits and pieces of time. You can walk around. This is the map. You can kind of get an idea that's where the ships are, and you can see the shopping mall. This is walkable. The visitor service, you can see the British Maritime Museum. Up in the corner is Snorkel Park Beach. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The museum that is there is maritime history. There is a fee for it. And if it rains, I might go there. I really was going to go last time. It was my only trip to Bermuda that I had perfect weather every day. So you all know what I did. I snorkeled. There's always tomorrow. Enjoy the doing and enjoy the not doing. You can always have another trip to Bermuda. So do not make the great race a race that runs you ragged. Savor the moments, do what you like, do what you enjoy, and save something for tomorrow. Which reminds me that tomorrow, if you'd like to come back to Bermuda, we're going to be talking about things like that. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if you come, you'll know. We're going to talk about eat, drink, and be merry. The aspects of Bermuda's culture, so as you journey around the island, however you journey, you'll have more things to look for and more things to appreciate. So I hope that I see some of you tomorrow, and I thank you very much for your attention today, and as I say, for giving up your sunshine. And now, if anyone has any questions, I would be happy to entertain them. Sure. Yes?
Where do you get those transportation passes?
You can buy the transportation passes right at King's Wharf. There's a ferry terminal there.
Okay.
And when you buy one, obviously they give you a map. You can, yes?
I don't know if any of the buses and the ferries are accessible.
You know, that's a good question, and I don't know. Are the buses and ferries accessible? I would think that the ferries would be, because that's generally a ramp. I just don't know, but they can tell you.
I just heard recently that there is a evening festival of some sort Wednesday nights in Hamilton.
Harbor Night, yes.
Harbor Night.
Harbor Night is in Hamilton on Front Street, which is right where the ferry will leave you on Wednesday evening. And I believe they run ferries. I think it goes from 7 to 10 or something like that. It's kind of like a street fair, but some of the things you'll hear about in the culture, like the gumbe dancers, and they have them there. Yeah.
Thank you.
I haven't seen it, but well, you're going to hear this from me if I see you again. If you do something that you loved, or you do something that I talked about that you hated, or that you had a problem with, or if you can let me know if the buses are accessible. That is really helpful to me and to everybody I speak with, because collectively we will do much more than any one of us will do alone. And I really do like to hear from it. So I have read about that many times, but I've never been to it, and I would really like to know, and I would really like the answer to your questions. So, anybody else? Well, I thank you for coming, and I think you will have a wonderful time in Bermuda, and I think you'll be powerful, because now you know what's out there and how to do it. Thank you.